Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 4 of the King's Challenge. My name is Zach Bulls. I'm the co-owner, co-founder of Gay Man Thriving, and I'm so happy to be with you today to continue teaching you the biggest mistakes that most gay men make on their path to having fulfillment and wildly being wildly satisfied in every area of their life. I am so excited to be joining you today for day 4. For those of you joining me live or catching the replay, do type hello in the chat below. I love interacting and engaging with you men as I do these trainings. Hey Ed, good to see you. While we give everyone a few seconds to jump on, I'm going to go ahead and tag everyone so that we can get rocking and rolling with day 4. It has been such an honor and joy to be leading this experience with you all. I've got to say it's been a pure joy to see your commitment and your willingness and your eagerness to learn and grow and expand who you are, expand what's possible. I see, awesome, so many of you are here. Hello Andrew, hello Binja, Thaddeus, Ross, Jeff, Andrew. Yes, you've made it. Julia, Stephen, hey, Dale, bonjour, Darren, Lee, David, Ed, good to see all of you. And really happy to be continuing the momentum that we've been building. What an experience this has been so far. I know each of you are doing the best that you can with what you know, but sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and I think it's really powerful and impactful to be able to expose some of the biggest mistakes so many of you are making on your quest to achieving fulfillment in every realm of your life. On day 1, we dove into your sovereign desire, getting clear on what it is that you most want for your kingdom, and exposing the mistake of not prioritizing your desires, ultimately settling, trying to make the best of the situation, but actively neglecting areas of your life that you may not know how to improve upon. And as we talked about, most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, this is in romantic relationships. Gay men are the social group most likely to be single. In fact, 60% of gay men over the age of 45 are and will remain single for the rest of their lives. This statistic is simply unacceptable. And that is why I am here leading this training today, to help so many of you recognize what's not working so that you can start shifting your focus towards other things. And as you know, for those of you who do want to learn the specific tools and skills and strategies that goes way beyond what we can fit into a 30-minute, once a day, 5-day challenge, the Thriving Gay Mastermind is now open. We're starting our next cohort in March, and I'll be talking more about how you guys can get involved in this incredible opportunity a little later. But reflecting on what we did for day 2, which was all about slaying self-doubt. This is really focusing on what you get to do differently to start building authentic confidence and trust in yourself, which is really at the foundation of being able to rule your kingdom with grace and sovereignty and power. And we exposed one of the biggest mistakes gay men make when trying to build authentic confidence is really focusing on the wrong things, focusing on external things. I was just on a session with one of my one-on-one clients a moment ago, talking about improving our physical appearance and how that's something that's been important to me on my journey. But I have had to learn and recognize that my worth and my value goes so far beyond what I look like on the outside. And trust me, I put a lot of effort into my physical appearance and my physical health and my self-care. It's something that means a lot to me. It's one of my values, but it's not something that I'm basing my worth on, or something that I believe that I need so people will like me. And that's the difference. So we exposed that myth. On day 3 was all about ruling with integrity. Yesterday, we dove into self-sabotaging behaviors, self-sabotaging patterns that keep so many gay men on the sidelines in their own lives, especially when it comes to dating and relationships. And exposing one of the biggest mistakes that we as gay men often make is convincing ourselves and believing that you just don't have time. In reality, what we talked about yesterday was, in fact, it's not that you don't have time. We all have the same 24 hours in every day. It's how you maybe misusing your time due to deeper fears and deeper beliefs that are blocking you and making you think you don't have enough time to do something that feels really hard, when in fact, with the right guidance and support, like we do offer in the Thriving Game Man Mastermind, you can really refine and optimize your efforts after you get underneath those fears and doubts and insecurities, building that solid foundation of self-love and self-trust and confidence in yourself so that you can courageously put yourself out there without attachments, without expectations, without being derailed by all the other gay men that are looking for different things that might be pulling you in different directions, but learning how to keep your eye on the prize and focus your efforts and streamline your efforts. I've worked with gay men with the busiest of schedules who are still able to really maximize their efforts and really create that loving romantic connection that we all crave. So great work so far on these 3 days. It's been a joy. And without further ado, who's ready to get started with day 4? Here we go. Type 4 in the chat if you are ready to get started. Because today on day 4 of the King's Challenge, I'm going to be teaching you the biggest mistakes gay men make when trying to build meaningful and lasting connections and what you get to focus on instead. All right, seeing some 4s in the chat. Well, keep your hands on the keyboards, guys, because this one is going to be very interactive, and I'm definitely going to be looking to your comments as we co-create this experience together. Sound good? All right. So type me in the chat if what I'm about to share sounds familiar. Type me in the chat if you're like most gay men I work with. You have a really big heart. You have a lot of compassion and concern for others. You really care about how other people feel and what they think. Type me in the chat if this sounds like you. You're very mindful and you're considerate of other people. You have a nurturing personality and you really enjoy helping and giving to others. Type me in the chat if sometimes, as a result of this focus on other people, you sometimes forget to prioritize yourself. You're concerned how people will react if you say no to something, and so you say yes, and you add more things to your plate. Type me in the chat if you find yourself often saying yes to too many things, especially at work, which creates an imbalance in your life, which sometimes makes you feel like you're stretched a little too thin. That really feeds into that story we exposed yesterday about not having much time. You'll notice this is all connected, guys. Type me in the chat if your relationships tend to feel a bit one-sided, where you often feel like you're the one who's putting in more of the effort. Type me in the chat if you really often, you see the potential in people, especially the people that you really like, but sometimes that causes you to overlook red flags. Type me in the chat if this sounds like you. And because you really care about how other people feel and what they think, this may be preventing you from fully expressing and enjoying yourself. This may cause you to not be spending your time in the way that you would most want to, finding yourself sacrificing and settling in certain areas of your life. And that area that you most often find yourself sacrificing and settling is typically in romantic relationships. Sounds familiar, right? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of me's. Well, guys, you're not alone. This describes 9 out of 10 guys that I work with, and the majority of gay men that I know. You have a big heart. You care about other people. But sometimes that concern for other people, which is rooted in much deeper things that we'll get to in a moment, block you from authentically and courageously expressing yourself. Well, today in day 4 of the King's Challenge, we're going to talk about why it's important for you to give yourself permission to stop walking on eggshells, stop worrying about upsetting other people, stop trying so hard to be liked, so that you can start building the healthy, meaningful, and fulfilling relationships you crave with people you love spending time with. Type a 1 in the chat if you're ready for that. Because, gentlemen, Kings, it is time to earn the respect and admiration that you deserve by learning how to courageously communicate your wants, your needs, your values, your boundaries, your requests. Type a 1 in the chat if you're ready to learn how to break through these barriers that are blocking you from authentically expressing yourself. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Seeing a lot of 1s. Well, this training is for you if you feel disconnected, if you have a history of one-sided relationships, if you tend to be the one who puts in more of the effort, if you feel that imbalance, often sucked into other people's dramas and saying yes to too many things, which leaves you feeling overwhelmed, depleted, unappreciated, and sometimes taken for granted, frustrated, resentful, and misunderstood. This training today is for you if you want deeper, more meaningful connections with people you truly enjoy spending time with. This training is for you if you're ready to feel seen and respected by the people in your life. If you desire more balance, peace, and harmony. That's what today's training is all about. It's about helping you get underneath the self-sabotaging behaviors that are blocking you from having more expansive, more harmonious, more balanced, more healthy, more meaningful connections that I know each and every one of you crave. But for many reasons that we'll get to in a moment, you're not able to create, despite your best efforts, which is why you are probably focused more on your career, focused on building wealth, focused more on all the other things in your world that you're focusing on to try to feel better about yourself so that you can live your life and be happy. But I know that for those of you who don't have that long-term meaningful connection, that companionship, that life partner, or more balanced relationships with friends and family and coworkers, that is something deep down that you want. And it's not for a lack of effort. It's not for a lack of trying. But today I'm going to teach you what you've been doing wrong that's getting in the way, that's directly blocking you from having those meaningful, those vast, expansive, nurturing, thriving connections where you get to be your authentic self, where you get to truly belong for exactly who you are and know that you're okay the way that you are and feel valued and appreciated for who you are. Type a 2 in the chat if you want more of that genuine, authentic, meaningful connection where you don't have to try so hard, you don't have to be anything other than you to feel loved, to feel valued, to feel connected. Type a 2 in the chat if you'd like more of that. Well, gentlemen, kings, you are in the right place. I want to begin by talking about what you may think the problem is, because we've made it clear that you desire more meaningful, lasting connections. You want to feel seen, you want to feel heard, you want to feel respected. Well, you may think the problem is that you just haven't met the right people or the right guy. You might think the problem is that most gay men aren't looking for anything serious, or you might have this sinking suspicion that guys are into you for the wrong reasons. You might have this belief that for some reason or another, you keep attracting narcissists. Type a 3 in the chat if that sounds familiar to you. If you wonder if guys are into you for the right reasons, if you feel like you just haven't met the right guys, haven't met the right people, and there's this mysterious group of people out there that you need to find so that you can have more fulfillment, so that you can have more happiness, have more connection. I mean, it makes sense how that might be what you believe. Well, if that's something that you're thinking, the things you're probably trying to solve this problem, the things that you're probably trying to make more progress when it comes to making more deep and meaningful connections, the thing that most guys are trying is waiting for the right guy to come along. Aligning your energy with the universe to co-create and manifest that dream man. And you're patiently waiting. You're doing all the right things, focusing on building your career, maintaining your appearance, living your life, waiting for that right guy to come along. You're probably also, when you do meet guys that you really like, trying really hard because it seems like there's not a lot of great options out there. because that's based on your experience. You're probably trying to say the right things when you meet a guy that you really like. You're probably trying to keep the peace and avoid conflict with people in your life already. You might be trying to play it cool when you meet guys that you're interested in. Well, there's a reason that these things aren't working. Because it's not about waiting for the right guy. It's not trying to say and do the right things. It's not about trying to be perfect. Because if you're trying to be perfect, what happens when you take off that mask? That's not going to be beneficial for anyone. The biggest mistake, type mistake in the chat if you guys are ready to hear what's really underneath all of this. Type mistake in the chat if you guys want to hear what's really, really, really going on. And I want to warn you, this isn't going to be for the faint of heart. Some of these things might not be super easy to hear, but let's face it, you've been trying your best to create that thriving romantic relationship. You've been doing all the things that you know how to do to get to that place, and despite your best efforts, it's not happening. And so naturally, you focus on other things. Well, waiting and focusing on other things isn't the solution. There is a better way, but for you to get to that place, we've got to uncover what's not working. Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of people typing mistake in the chat. Well, the mistakes that you're making is that you care and worry too much about how other people feel and what other people think. This is coming from a loving, caring energy, guys. But this isn't doing you any favors. Now, I'm not telling you to jump into suddenly being this careless, narcissistic asshole that doesn't give a fuck about other people. But there's a big difference between caring and worrying too much about other people's feelings and emotions and thoughts and not caring at all. The biggest mistake that you're making is because you care so much about how other people feel and what other people think, you tend to overthink and really monitor and filter the things that you say, the things that you do. You aren't the best at authentically expressing yourself to other people. You're not a fake person, but type me in the chat if sometimes you feel like you withhold sharing how you're really feeling or what you're really thinking, if you're afraid it might upset the other person, or if you're afraid they might not like you or agree with your opinion. Type me in the chat if this sounds like something you do. Type me in the chat if you struggle with setting healthy boundaries because you're afraid it might cause people not to like you or push them away. Type me in the chat if when you meet guys you really like or people you really want into your world, you try too hard. You fall into that people-pleasing, self-sacrificing behavior where you're not comfortable or willing to set healthy boundaries because you don't want to rock the boat and you want to be accepted and you want to be liked. Again, guys, this is coming from a natural, pure desire of wanting to be a part of a community, be a part of a relationship. And if you haven't had a lot of great experiences and you feel like there's limited options out there, when you meet a guy that you really like, it can be pretty easy to let your standards and requirements for natural behavior kind of fall to the wayside as you try to show him how amazing his life would be if he chose to be with you, or how great you would be for him, or how much you can add value to his world. If you're like 9 out of 10 guys I work with, this is something that you do. I hear you, Anthony. It's a very familiar pattern. And it stems from very specific reasons we'll get to in a moment. But before we do, I want to tell you why this doesn't work. I want to tell you why caring too much about what other people think and how people feel, not authentically expressing yourself, struggling to set healthy boundaries and trying too hard, saying yes to extra tasks at work, being nice and overly accommodating to people you like, and how that spills over into your personal life and blocks you from having the time to really do all the things that you want, why that's not working for you. You see, this people-pleasing, self-sacrificing caregiver energy is not only fueling one-sided codependent relationships, because that's really what's at the core of lopsided, one-sided relationships. It's also repelling the guys that you really want to be with. It's actively pushing away the guys that you want. Because trying too hard is coming from an energy of scarcity, of lack, of you trying to overcompensate for deep down not feeling good enough. And trust me, as a gay man, I know what good actors we can be. I know what it's like to put on the face, to put on the mask of, I have no concerns or worries and everything is good. I mean, go to a gay bar, you'll see almost every single person walking around this way with kind of that stern, I don't care, I'm not concerned look on their face. But sadly, for most of us, it's an act, because we really do care. We grew up feeling different. We grew up feeling rejected from an early age. Trying too hard is going to repel most guys because people can pick up on that needy energy. But it's going to also attract a very specific type of guy. When you're falling into this people-pleasing category of really trying to go above and beyond to show someone how great you are and how much value you can add to their world and how much they should want to be with you, when you go to that place of people-pleasing, trying to be perfect, trying too hard, not expressing how you're really feeling but trying to do and say all the right things, I get it. I've been there. I spent most of my life in this type of energy, actually. What I had to learn the hard way, and what so many gay men learn the hard way, which makes them want to give up altogether on love and dating, is because this people-pleasing energy, this caregiving energy, this self-sacrificing energy, not only repels the guys that you want to be with because it pushes them away. They sense that you're trying too hard and they can tell something's off and they don't know what or why, but it is energetically repelling. When you're coming from a place of trying too hard and trying to be liked and trying to do and say the right things, you might think you have the act down, but people who are very secure in who they are, the guys that you really want to be with, are going to be turned off and put off by this behavior. But do you know what kind of guys this behavior attracts? The very guys that you most want to avoid. This behavior attracts, just like shark bait, narcissists and guys who tend to be more on the selfish, self-serving side of the spectrum. I'm not saying anyone here is good or bad or right or wrong. This is all about energy. And when you are coming from people-pleasing, caregiving energy, you are a perfect energetic match for someone who is looking for someone to also put them first, someone that they can benefit from. And it might not be obvious on the outside, but this is what makes the energetic harmony. So the solution isn't meeting the right people, because you're going to continue energetically attracting yourself to narcissists. And it goes both ways, because you feel like you've got something that you're lacking and you're overcompensating in a way. So you deep down subconsciously believe that you're not really a good fit for another guy who really has his shit together, that checks all the boxes. And so you're subconsciously actually energetically attracted to the damsels in distress, the stray dog, that really cute guy that's struggling just a little bit. It feels subconsciously like a perfect fit because you're a great problem solver, you love helping people, and this really sweet, adorable guy needs help. What better opportunity to meet someone where you get to prove how incredible of a guy you are and how much you have to offer and how much you can rock his world. But what happens when you sweep that damsel in distress off his feet? What happens when you rescue that stray dog? You think he's going to love you forever and it's just going to be a match made in heaven and you guys are going to ride off into the sunset together. You're going to help him improve his situation and he's going to appreciate you and you guys are just going to be at the same level and everything's going to work out magically. But in the law of energetics, it simply doesn't work this way. The energy in which something is created is the energy that's required for something to maintain. So if you create a codependent relationship from the get-go, things don't just work themselves out. You continue giving and providing and serving and doing and loving, and that person is taking and appreciating and receiving and getting and benefiting. And then you keep giving and they keep taking, and you keep giving and they keep taking, and you keep giving until you have nothing left to give, until you wake up and years have gone by and nothing ever changed. Things didn't balance out. In fact, they only got worse. Type me in the chat if this sounds like something you've experienced in your personal relationships. Type me in the chat if you have unknowingly and unintentionally participated in this type of one-sided, lopsided dynamic. Well, I want you to know it's not your fault, because you're doing, as I mentioned, the best that you can with what you know. But the solution isn't giving up or waiting for a magic guy that defies the odds. It's breaking out of this energetic pattern. And it's easier said than done. I see a lot of me's. Yeah. It's tough. Because remember, you see the potential in people. You see the possibilities in people. And you're a great problem solver. You're a great fixer-upper. You have the best of intentions. But sadly, you're always going to pay the highest price in the end because of this energetic dynamic. The real problem isn't continuing to try to say and do the right things. The real solution isn't trying to wait for the right guy to come along. The real solution is not giving up because you're damaged or broken and this is inevitable. The solution is breaking out of this pattern, but first we have to understand where this is coming from. Type problem in the chat. Type the word problem if you want to understand what's really underneath this behavior that's been driving your tendency to overcompensate, to go above and beyond. Type problem in the chat if you want to learn once and for all why this keeps happening, why this pattern seems like something you can't break out of. Type problem in the chat if you want to learn for yourself what you can stop doing and how you can understand what needs to change. Because it's not you at your core. It's your energy. It's your way of thinking. You see, this isn't something we just decide to do. No one wakes up one day and says, I'm going to be a people pleaser today. I'm going to be a self-sacrificing martyr and caregiver, because that sounds like a fun idea. This isn't something you guys are doing intentionally, but it's something that's so deeply rooted, it's hard to recognize, and it's even harder to shift, especially when we're left to our own devices. But the real problem is that this is learned behavior. This is based on past programming. This is because too much of your self-worth is tied up into what you can do for other people. You pride yourself on making a difference in this world, of having an impact and serving and helping other people. It's coming from a generous place, and I'm not suggesting that any of you stop being caring, kind, loving individuals. But there is a very energetic pattern disrupt that's going to be really imperative for you guys to make. Because part of you feels like you need to overcompensate, especially with the people that you really like. That again pushes away the guys that you do want and attracts narcissists into your world. So this is learned behavior from childhood. So from a very early age, if what I've described today sounds like you, and it sounds like all of you watching are resonating and clicking with what I'm sharing, because this is such a common pattern, especially among gay men who aren't narcissists, who are on the other side of the spectrum. You learn from a really early age, when you're extra kind, when you're extra caring, when you're extra generous and thoughtful, that you received positive attention. You felt valuable and you felt important when people said, thank you, I really appreciate you. That was so helpful. And I bet most of you have found yourself even in your career, in roles that really serve and benefit and help other people. Teachers, doctors, educators, social workers, counselors, therapists, people who want to make a difference in this world because it's something you're good at. But this learned behavior from childhood made you feel like I'm valuable when I'm giving to other people. I feel important when I'm providing and giving and complimenting and serving others. And so this subconsciously became strategy for life for you as a little boy. And it's something that's been deeply rooted and deeply programmed your entire life. Because feeling that appreciation, feeling that gratitude from other people makes you feel alive. It makes you feel invigorated. And so that's your strategy when it comes to feeling liked and feeling loved and how you believe you have to show up for people to want to be in your world. But what happens when you're no longer feeling like you're of service? What happens to your self-worth and self-value if that's based and rooted on being of service to other people? Then come the feelings of inadequacy, of not being good enough. And then you tend to overcompensate more and more and more, and you feed the problem. You keep giving and giving and giving and serving and serving and serving. And the cycle only continues. And if it's not in romantic relationships, it's probably also with your coworkers and colleagues, saying yes to too many things at work, afraid to say no because you don't want other people to not like you, afraid to set boundaries because you don't want to push people away. But as long as this is your behavioral pattern, you, my friends, are perpetuating the problem. You are perpetuating this issue because you think it's not okay to say no. You don't feel comfortable setting boundaries. You don't feel comfortable expressing what you really want because you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to disrupt other people. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to inconvenience other people. But what do you do instead? You inconvenience yourself. You stretch yourself too thin. You don't speak up for what you want and what you need. And you don't teach people how to treat you in the ways that you most want to be treated. You teach people that they can expect you to always say yes. That you're just that guy that loves doing things for other people, and that's just who you are. And they're probably telling their other friends, hey, if you've got a problem, call this guy up. He loves solving problems for people. And when you have a hard time saying yes, you're going to have a hard time doing the things that actually bring you satisfaction and fulfillment. Because no matter what, if you're stretching yourself too thin and self-sacrificing yourself, it's always going to eventually lead to burnout and overwhelm. It's not sustainable. Whether that's your work relationships, your relationships with your family members, or relationships with a romantic partner. This needy energy coming from lack is what's making you not a good match for the guys that you want to be with. It pushes them away, and it attracts guys who are looking for someone else who will put them first. But there is a solution to this problem, guys. Now that you understand the mistakes that you're making, and I know this isn't rocket science, this isn't like new news, because I'm sure most of you realize to some degree that you do fall into this pattern. But I want you to know this is not who you are. This is learned behavior. And the good news is, this learned behavior can be unlearned. In my experience, it's very difficult to try to figure this out on our own. And today's lesson is about awareness of the problem. The solution that you guys get to focus on from here is knowing these important lessons. It's not selfish to put yourself first. It's okay to say no. In fact, saying no can be the most loving choice for everyone. I get that these can feel like platitudes, but this is real talk. And it goes beyond the words. This is about you embodying and trusting in your worth and your value. And there's no snap of the fingers or quick fix for this to happen. There's been years and years and years of evidence that have taught you that things are better for you when you fall into this caregiver, people pleaser role, when you self-sacrifice yourself for other people. That's what's made you feel important and valuable. but you get to decide this behavior no longer serves me. You get to own and recognize that setting healthy boundaries are not walls that push people away. There are people in your life who may be used to you sacrificing and people pleasing and going over and beyond to help serve them, and they're probably pretty happy with you being this way. And if you start setting healthy boundaries, they might go as far as to call you selfish. This is where you get to really stand your ground, and you get to own that setting healthy boundaries are not walls that push people away. It's actually how you let them into your world. This is how we teach people how to treat us. Setting healthy boundaries is how you build deeper connections. It's the opposite of what you might think. And so to get to the place where you feel comfortable setting healthy boundaries, saying no, standing up for yourself, expressing your wants, needs, and desires, we got to get underneath what's really perpetuating the problem. The fear, the past programming. Because as I mentioned, this is all learned behavior. No one is born as a people pleaser. No one is born as a self-sacrificer. It's something that you've learned as a strategy for life. But this learned behavior can be unlearned with precision and care. Who wants to break out of this cycle? Type break out. Not like a pimple, but break out of this cycle. Who wants to break out of this cycle? Type break out if you want to stop shooting yourself in the foot by suppressing your needs and your wants and your desires. Type break out if you desire to stop feeling like you have to say yes or people won't be your friend. Type break out if you're ready to stop attracting narcissists into your world because you care so much about how other people feel and what other people think. Type breakout in the chat if you're ready to stop repelling and pushing away the really secure, really amazing guys that if you weren't in this energetic frequency, you would be a perfect match for. But that you can't be until you break out of this energetic pattern that runs so deep in our subconscious, that's so ingrained. I love it, Lee. Breakout. Yes. Well, I want each and every one of you to know that you can. It's not an overnight process and it's not a quick fix. But now that you understand the problem and you can stop doing this self-sabotaging behavior, you all have an opportunity to learn what to do instead. You get to start asking for what you want. You get to stop being afraid to say no. You get to start expressing how you feel, and you get to start expressing what you want and what you desire. And this is what we go so much deeper into in the Thriving Gay Man Mastermind. I can't possibly teach you all of the tools and structures and frameworks for setting healthy boundaries and making requests, speaking authentically and courageously. Last time I did this training, I tried to cram a lot into this workshop. And I was doing each of you a disservice because I didn't talk about what was going on underneath it. I can give you all the right words, the magic words to say, to navigate conflicts, to set the boundaries, to be able to express your wants, needs, and desires, to be able to make requests. This includes in the bedroom. I could give you the magic words, but if your energy is not aligned underneath it and you haven't gotten to the root issues, they're just words. And people can feel your energy more than the words that you choose. But for those of you who want to learn how to break out of this energetic pattern once and for all, I want you to know that this is one of my favorite things to help gay men do. But it can only be done in a more elevated way. It can only be done with consistency and with care. And that's why I work with gay men for a minimum of a 3-month period, so that I can help you rewire and reprogram these belief systems that make you feel like you have to say yes, that make you feel like you can't stand up for yourself and set boundaries, that make you believe that asking for what you want and saying no is selfish, that setting boundaries will push people away. Because when you find that guy that you really like, no matter how many words I might teach you, until you've gotten underneath the programming, all that's going to fall by the wayside as you show up and try to do all the things that you can to make him like you. All the things that's going to push him away. unless he is one of those people that falls on the narcissistic side of things. And he is going to eat it all right up. But for those of you who want to go deeper, for those of you who want to make real, meaningful, lasting change, I want to invite you to be a part of something really beautiful. The Thriving Game Man Mastermind is a 3-month experience that is designed to help you rewire and reprogram all of those beliefs that make you feel less than, that makes you question and worry and overthink and doubt, that's fueling all the self-sabotaging behaviors that we talked about yesterday. Once you get to the root of that and you face those fears and you learn the proactive tools and strategies, that's when you're able to start aligning your actions and behaviors with what you want. That's what's going to help you start saying no and setting the boundaries, especially when you learn how to build next level connections, when I teach you all about courageous communication. But for you to be able to apply the tools that I teach you about setting healthy boundaries and managing conflicts and really being able to be in a relationship that grows and expands, where you get to share all parts of yourself with another person, you can't be hyper fixated and worried about what they're thinking, or if they're not going to like you if you tell them about the thing that you really want to do in the bedroom, or the thing that you're really excited about, or how you're really feeling, or what's really bothering you. Those are the things that cause distance in relationships. No matter what words you have, if the energy is not aligned, you stay in the same energetic frequency and you stay in the same energetic pattern. But for those of you who want to break out of this cycle, there's a very special opportunity that I want to invite each of you to. I know that many of you have reached out to me, and in fact, there's so many people reaching out to me, I haven't been able to keep up with all the conversations in Facebook Messenger. On Monday, we shared that we're actually discounting the Thriving Game Man Mastermind by $1,000 if you sign up this week. Well, I'm here to tell you that I'm extending that discount because I want to invite as many of you that are a good fit, of course. This is an invitation-only program. But for those of you who are willing to do the work, who are ready to make real, lasting change, I want to invite you to something that is revolutionary, something that we've never quite done before. This is the second round of the Thriving Game Man Mastermind, but I learned a lot the first time, and I've made some incredible improvements. And our next cohort begins in March. But for those of you who want to make this lasting change and are excited about really putting in the work so that you can break out of these energetic patterns, I'm extending the $1,000 discount by 1 week. For those of you who apply to the Thriving Game Man Mastermind, and I'm dropping the link to apply in the comments below, this is going to lead you to an application, basically a questionnaire, where you're going to answer some questions. And again, guys, this is a paid program. This is for those of you who are willing and able to invest in yourself, in your personal growth. This is for gay men who have fulfillment in most areas of their life, but they really want to figure out this relationship piece. They really want to have it all. And they're willing to work with the top experts in the world to make these lasting changes. Then this is for you. If you apply before the end of this week and schedule a call with me next week, I'll honor the $1,000 discount if you enroll by the end of January. So fill out this questionnaire, schedule a call. I'd love to chat with you more to make sure that this is a perfect fit. So we have different pricing options, different payment plans. I also offer one-on-one support for those of you who want to have even more streamlined support. But schedule this call, fill out this questionnaire, and we'll chat more one-on-one about what you most desire for your thriving kingdom, what's most getting in the way for you, and really deciding if this is the next best path for you. This is for you if you're open and willing to doing the work, doing what it takes, and investing in yourself to make these lasting changes. Because I know from experience, and I know from working with thousands of gay men all over the world, how hard and painful it is to be stuck in this energetic pattern. And if you've been paying attention today, you know that I understand the challenges that you're facing. And even more importantly, I understand how to break out of them. But I can't give you Band-Aid solutions. It goes so much deeper. For those of you who want to master the inner game, align your actions and behaviors with your desires, and learn how to build next level connections by learning courageous communication skills, by learning all the words with your energy aligned, this 3-month program is a perfect fit for you. If this sounds like something you're curious about, fill out this questionnaire. I'll type the link in one more time. And I'll also be sending out an email after this call. But I want you to know there is a way through this. You are not broken. You are not one of those guys that's just meant to be single because you keep having codependent relationships. Nothing brings me more joy other than my relationship and maybe sex with my husband. Nothing brings me more joy than helping gay men break out of this energetic pattern. And if you desire this for yourself, this is your next step. So before we wrap, I want to make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover today. Your homework assignment for day 4. Who's ready for your homework assignment? Type homework in the chat if you are ready to really take a positive step towards identifying and naming what's been going wrong and what's not working. Because that's what your homework assignment is for today. If you're still with me, type homework in the chat and we'll dive into, because for each and every one of you, whether you continue on in the mastermind or not, awareness is power and we all have to start somewhere. This program may not be for you. It's not for everyone. It's not a small investment and it's not an easy quick fix. The Thriving Gay Man Mastermind is for those who are really wanting to have it all in their world. And they're tired of trying to figure it out on their own. But for each of you, your homework assignment is going to be a new Facebook post that I'll be posting in a moment. You'll type in the comments below how in the past you've failed to prioritize yourself and your needs, where you've fallen into self-sacrificing, people-pleasing behavior, and what that's cost you. And by sharing a desire, sharing an intention for yourself of what you'd like to create instead, and perhaps what you're committing to doing to get there. Gentlemen, kings, great work today. I know this was a deep conversation. I know we covered a lot of things, and I know some of it is not easy to hear. Most of you probably don't instinctually identify as people pleasers, as caregivers. Our egos don't want to allow that. But if you're finding yourself in these one-sided relationships, if you're the one who feels like you're often trying too hard and not getting back what you're giving, there's a lot of deeply rooted energetics going on. And there's no snap of the fingers quick fix, but there is a solution for those of you who are willing to answer the call. Great work today, everyone. Be on the lookout for your homework assignment. Remember, for those of you who complete the homework assignment for all 5 days of the challenge, will be eligible to win $1,000 off, an additional $1,000 off. So if you sign up for the mastermind before the end of January, that means scheduling a call, filling out this questionnaire that I'm typing in the chat one more time. If you fill out this questionnaire and schedule a call with me for next week, and you win the drawing, you could save $2,000 on the mastermind. There will be 2 winners. So those of you who are participating every day, you'll be entered to win one of the 2 prizes. So, I just typed 777. That's not the answer. Let's see. That's it right there. Okay, great work today, guys. Gotta run. I'll see you in the Facebook group. I can't wait to see your homework assignments, and I'll see you tomorrow, where I will be meeting each of you on Zoom. So be on the lookout. Tomorrow morning, I will email you the Zoom link. I'll probably send it tonight as well, and I'll try to post in the Facebook group, but we won't be meeting on Facebook Live tomorrow. I'm gonna be doing a live Zoom call where I'll be doing a coaching session, a live group coaching session for all of you. So those of you who raise your hands first will be able to ask questions and get one-on-one support from me. I really can't wait to answer any questions that you have about anything that we've covered this week. I want you to be thinking about, where are you feeling the most stuck? What are you most desiring for your kingdom? Which of these 4 days so far has stood out the most to you as things that you're recognizing for yourself? What are the biggest mistakes that you've identified that you're making as we've exposed these mistakes each day? What is it that you want to learn? What is it that you want to ask? Come ready with questions tomorrow. I'll be sending a Zoom link and we'll be meeting on Zoom same time tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you then. Bye for now, everyone.